I'm going to call this regular board meeting to order. Has the meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has been.
All right, thank you. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Joni. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote with Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
Mandy is gone tonight. Jeff.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Passes 8-0. All right, Layla Bork is gone tonight.
But we do have Jillian Ronenberg and Molly
she's gonna
Johnson
give it.
who are here for another presentation, and Jillian agreed, though I twisted her arm very hard, to do the student council report. So thank you. I also
Perfect.
wanted to mention that Kevin is at the Honors Band Conference. Nikki went to the Fair Board meeting, and Crystal's not feeling well, so they're not here tonight. Thanks, Jillian.
All right, well, my name is Jillian Ronenberg. So there's a few things going on with Student Council this month. There is the Senior Citizen Dinner, which is at 5:30 on Sunday. It's a great way for students to get service hours in. Students bring food and prizes for bingo, and we share our time with people of Adams County housing facilities. There's also pot sales, which I know many of you would like to buy potties right now. This is wrapping up this week, so make sure you get your orders in. If you want to order some, feel free to contact Mr. Glitch. There is also the turkey raffle going on. We have been working hard on ensuring our teachers of our high school are appreciated. We've been gathering prizes and ensuring that everyone gets something if they join in. For NHS, there's Veterans Day, which is tomorrow around 10:30. NHS has been in full force trying to make this one the best one yet. We have made over 70 cards and we've been preparing food for the occasion.
All right, thank you, Jillian. I appreciate it.
All right, we have no public comments.
No public comments.
And then we will go to 2.3, the TEMA report.
So we have Jillian Ronenberg and Molly Johnson, both seniors, who are involved in the class with Mr. Weglar. So I'll let them do their presentation. Thanks for coming tonight.
My name is Molly Johnson. We are both part of the TEMA Academy, which is a class that you start your sophomore year, halfway through your sophomore year, and then you go through your senior year. We just went on a trip to Door County, which was a really cool experience. For a lot of our team members, especially because they've never gotten to have experiences like that. We went camping, we went off-road cycling, which was super fun. We were like going through trails on segways. We went kayaking as well.
So yeah, we learned a lot of like independence and like going along that side of things. Most students rarely get to leave Adams County, so like having these opportunities allows people to like step out of their comfort zones and kind of experience things they might never get to and find out interests that they may never like had. We didn't have our phones. This was a three-day trip.
Yeah.
It was two nights, 3 days I think. So we didn't have our phones and nobody was bothered by that at all. We were allowed to really connect with each other and nature. We had to pitch our own tents, we had to make our own food, so we learned a lot of like responsibility and independence, but still were able to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we always joke around, we call ourselves like the little team of family. Like we have a team of game night coming up this weekend, like we just love hanging out with each other, so we really enjoy just Mr. Weglar's and the whole thing that we do. And now coming up, we do have our team at Capstone, so we've kind of been starting to prepare for that. We actually memorized a poem, and we had to speak that in front of the class, and then we also had elevator speeches that we also memorized. We're just practicing our presenting skills and things like that, because that is a key thing that we kind of have to master for our capstones coming up.
We also, last fall, we went on another trip to Turkey. We did the bus tours for the same company that we camped with. So that was kind of like the beginning and honestly like the start of our like connections as like a family. We get partnered up with people. We did we kind of zip lined, we did the ladder, it's like ladder thing. It was a lot of like trust and just really building connections with each other.
Yes. Mr. Wiggler likes to put us outside of our comfort zone, which has really helped us grow as well, both together and individually. So yeah, it's a really great program. We enjoy it.
How many students are a part of your club?
Currently, we have 9.
9?
Jeff?
Excuse my ignorance, what does TEMA stand for? And not to put you on the spot either.
It's technology, engineering,
Manufacturing?
I think, I don't know.
Academy.
Academy.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we always say Team Academy, even though the A stands for Academy, so.
And how many hours a day are you guys in that class? Because it's a commitment.
90 minutes
Yeah,
every.
So it's just one class period? I thought it was more than one class period. Okay.
We spend a lot of time like doing homework and things. It's a college and career prep class, so we're looking like post high school, whether it's the military or going to college or just entering the workforce. We're kind of exploring those as well right now.
So what's the poem?
It's 4 stanzas. Yeah.
Oh, boy, they actually recited it to me. It was actually quite good. And I recited a poem from my favorite poet as well. Just
Not to put you on the
equalize
spot.
things. It's quite long.
Okay.
But they did well. Have either of you solidified plans for next year?
I'm kind of getting there.
Okay. Jillian?
I'm in the midst of like this Questbridge scholarship. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's this 4-year scholarship that you can get a full ride to like the schools that they work with, and I'm a finalist for that. So I applied to like 15 schools through that, and then I find out if I get matched December 1st. So nothing like solid yet.
Excellent.
Look,
Have you chosen a career or what direction you want to go in college?
I would like to major in English. I'm not sure if I want to go like journalism, but something kind of in that path.
Very nice. Good luck.
All right. Well, thank you.
thank you, lady.
Thank you. And Jillian's mother teaches special ed at AFE, and Molly's father teaches special ed at the high school, and her mother is a former employee as well.
She sounds exactly like her.
Did you hear that? You guys do sound eerily alike.
Yes.
If you guys want to duck out, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, you know.
There is an attachment in the board packet that gives a little explanation about the trip they went on. How cold was it the morning that you guys camped? How cold was it when you got up in the morning, Molly? When you were camping, how cold was it that morning?
It was 45 degrees.
Okay.
The night's not really cold.
It looked like that.
But it was really fun.
Yeah, very much.
All right, thank you
you.
guys.
45 is not bad.
All right. 2.4, teaching and learning report.
There is a tiny URL connected to that segment of the board agenda that will follow along with the slides.
Sorry, I can't see that far. Roxy and I are here to give you a little update about Act 20 and what we've been doing. So, we'll start with that. All right, so we start our FAP meetings or our PLCs, and we've brought these to you before, our 2 district goals that we created at scale. So goal 1 is by May, we will increase the percentage of all students who need proficiency in reading by 5% as measured by the state benchmark on STAR reading assessment, and specifically reduce the achievement gap between economically disadvantaged and non-economically disadvantaged students by 5 percentage points. And goal number 2, by the end of the 25-26 school year, 100% of students will demonstrate growth in reading as measured by the state benchmark on STAR reading assessment. So we kind of checked with our staff. Do they know these goals? Can they recite them, or at least give us the basic idea? And we do read them out loud to staff as well, which is why I was reading them to you, because it's one of the things that we are doing for our SAIL and to encourage or improve our reading literacy. Right, so just a very quick refresher on Act 20. I'm not going to read all of this to you. But we're gonna talk tonight a little bit about what we did on our day on October 31st, where we worked on some of the pieces that are required under Act 20. So I remember Tom and myself bringing this to you actually 2 springs ago and talking about Act 20. It is in full force right now. We have universal screenings that you'll hear a little bit more about tonight, and the development of the personal reading plans, and I won't get into everything else that's in there. But as a reminder, we trained our entire staff last year on early literacy practices. So all of our staff have been trained. That was part of a requirement of Act 20. We made the decision to train our staff in literacy practices all the way through the high school. So we chose the keys to beginning reading for all of our elementary staff, as well as all of our staff who teaches, who works with students with special needs. And then at the middle and upper level, we use a continuation of that, which is called the key comprehension routine. So we have an entire staff that's been trained in these practices. And then you may also remember that we had 11 staff members finish the licensure to be a certified reading teacher with a partnership between our district and Viterbo. That was supported by the district and the board. So we have all 11 of those people are still with our district, and it makes a very big difference in their knowledge and understanding. So they didn't actually have to go through the training, but every single one of them did after that. So, I mean, the keys to beginning reading, they didn't have to, they weren't required, but they did. So that's a little refresher. It's not we can't choose to not do all of the things under Act 20. It is part of the law. Just a couple things about our responsibilities. So Heather and I, we ensure that we are in compliance with the school district. We review data and their trends. We look at progress reports. We coordinate any professional development that needs to be done, and we support our interventionists and teachers when we're looking at students who are at risk. Our interventionists and our instructional coaches administer and support the literacy screening that we schedule. They do a lot of documentation, and then they serve as that resource person for classroom teachers. And then classroom teachers deliver that daily Tier 1. They too will monitor students' progress with the core instruction and use their data to make any adjustments, and they communicate with families regarding how things are going. I just pick some highlights. There's a lot to this, and that all of the staff in our building are doing.
Yeah, we really wanted you to know a lot of this because it is a huge amount of work to make this happen, and part of it would be work no matter how many students we have, and part of it is even more work because of the next slide, which Rox is also on.
So if we go with Act 20, anybody that scores below the 25th percentile kind of will end up with a PRP, so you can kind of see the numbers. So we had to write 110 personal reading plans.
Wow.
And then with that also means, sorry, that's okay. I just figured I'd jump ahead. When we have that, we also have to progress monitor. So once a week, every student with a personal reading plan is monitored by a classroom teacher, or potentially an interventionist, and which is a lot of time. It's only once a week. If students are in special ed and have a PRP, which can happen, we don't commingle them. So they're progress monitored for their PRP separately, which is at grade level, and then they're monitored by their special education teacher at their instructional level.
And that's not a choice either. So if it sounds crazy, it is. So you're right. So even though students who have an IEP have a very specific plan, if they have a plan around reading, very specific plan for specialized instruction around reading, if they don't meet proficiency in the assessment that we give in the fall or winter or spring, in other words, if they don't reach the 25th percentile, they are also required to have a personal reading plan. So there's no way a student who has an IEP for reading
wouldn't get a PRP. I mean, if they do, then they shouldn't have an IEP. Does that make sense? So we've got double, so we've got to, you know, that is, to me, a part in the legislation that makes absolutely no sense at all, because they already have a personalized plan in the IEP, and now we're creating a personal reading plan on top of it. So we've tried to really work together to make sure that what we're offering them makes sense for what their needs are, and try to have that specialized instruction on their personal reading plan happen within the core classroom as much as we can. If that makes sense.
And you can see we spend 128 minutes a week just progress monitoring students over here. Some of the progress monitoring that we do, you can kind of see kindergarten takes 2 separate progress monitoring, letter reading fluency and then letter sound fluency. So it's, can they identify their numbers and do they know what their sounds are? First grade also does too. It's nonsense words and oral reading. So it's fake words like NAB and AB. Can they sound that out? Do they know the sounds of all that? And then oral reading fluency is some type of passage. Each of those are a minute. So how fast can they do? And then 2nd through 4th grade for theirs is oral reading again. It's a passage. How far can they go in a minute? And looking at their errors.
So those are not by choice either. We have to monitor all those pieces, and we've had to train everybody on how to do that monitoring. It's very, can't just, you have to be trained before you do. Next slide, this is not meant for you to read the data as much as just see kind of what we do. So this is like for an individual student whose name has been removed, obviously. And the one on the left is from last year, so you could kind of see like what we're seeing with a student. So this is just an example of what we would see. And I think it's really interesting, and I just want to talk about it for a second, kind of like what it takes internally when we're looking at a student and monitoring how they're doing and what we do about it. The one on the left, hopefully you can see it, and I think people here can probably see it maybe even better, but if you have your computers open. The one on the left is from last year, and the only reason we included that is because we're just not far enough in this year for you to see the same kind of data. But like the one on the left, what you can see is that kind of red line. We saw the child was being monitored regularly, and what do you see? Are they going up and down? Up or down, I should say, down. So then the arrows that go up, straight up, the vertical one, we changed the intervention. So we're paying attention to that and saying, this is not working for this child. They're getting an individual intervention. Last year, we were doing the PRPs, and we were monitoring them, and for this child, the intervention wasn't working. So we changed it, and then what did you see start to happen? Went up, right? So then we knew they're making gains, this intervention is working, we know what we're doing, we set the goal for them, you can see the projected goal, and really they went past that projected goal, as you can see. So that's the kind of like level of what we look at for kids individually when we're monitoring. This is an individual child, this isn't like a whole group. So for every one of those 110 PRPs, this is what we're doing. It's significant. The one on the right is a child, different child this year, right? So you can just kind of see where the child started in September and the intervention then got started, right? And that's just a new intervention. We weren't doing it before then because we didn't start before we had them all figured out. Mid-September, which was pretty quick even. And you can see there's some progress, you can kind of see where the goal is, but we would make a change if that child doesn't continue up that grade line, right? So I really just included these because I wanted you to see the amount of work that teachers do and our interventionists do and Roxy and I do to really look at this all the way down to an individual kid, the amount of work and how important these days are for us to have these 2 days we have during the year to look at this data because of the number of kids that we have.
And Heather mentioned what their goal is. So we have to look at their scores, set a goal, go into the system and plug all of that information in there. The Ames Web, which is what we progress monitor on, doesn't know what the goal is, we have to tell it what the goal is. So it's time to even just maneuver the programs within the system.
Yeah, and if Roxy's a student and she's at the 20th percentile and I'm in the same class and have the same needs, but I'm at the 8th percentile, smarter You know, I have 4 needs. That's true. That's true. So we're gonna have different goals, right? We're not gonna set hers at the 25th and mine at the 25th. That makes no sense.
Right.
No sense. Because I probably won't reach it and she will surpass it very quickly. So you see, we're not just looking for kids to reach proficiency, we're looking for them reasonable goals for them to reach. And the goal is always proficiency and beyond. Okay, so.
She had mentioned, Heather had mentioned, kind of we had on the 31st. So what the next one is, it created kind of an agenda for the day. So we started our day just looking at data, looking at grade level data. What are our trends? What are your noticings? What are your wonderings? Identifying different things and how they can support students who maybe are a little struggling. We went from there into how do we make small groups happen? What does it look like? What supports do you need? Even to, you see my 3-minute practice, so teachers had to take time and create 3 minutes of practicing how to get students into small groups. And we talked about it and what does it look like? Because what's maybe different for a 4-year-old than a 4th grader. Everything may be a little bit differently, or it may not. And then from there, we spent some time actually in their PLCs, working on the small groups, revising a plan, making a plan for their room, because what Heather would do in her classroom will be different than I would do in my room, because we have different kids, we have different needs. So it was a lot of it individual time, working on those small groups. We also had Heather created a note catcher, and they had to answer questions all throughout the day to reflect on what we were talking about, reflect on their goals, their wonderings, set some expectations, tell us what they're thinking, giving us times that we could come in and look at small groups. So they spent a lot of time reflecting and doing and practicing on the 31st.
So this is just, again, I'm not gonna read this to you, but just so you understand kind of our next steps. And a big piece of this is family communication, which will happen at conferences. And then continue with what you were just looking at, and then our next assessment window will be in the winter, and we look forward to seeing how many students will reach proficiency at that point. Before I move on to the next slide, I just want to ask if anyone has any questions about Act 20 or the PRPs or that process.
So I had the privilege of sitting on Saturday with Representative Kitchens, everybody's favorite person. He is the one that came up with Act 20. He's the one who sponsored the bill. We were told that we had to be nice to these individuals that showed up on a Saturday. So when he said, I did this bill and I funded it too.
Oh, boy.
Boy, sorry.
We couldn't get up there and say, show me the money. Because all of us know, sitting in this room, we didn't get the funding that it was professed.
Right, that's right. Right.
So,
It's an unfunded mandate. The
That's
only thing
ridiculous.
that the state funds is the required assessment through the utilization of Ames Web. They don't fund even the secondary one. So if the kids don't meet proficiency on Ames, we are required to do a second assessment. We use STAR, as you know, and we've always used it. So it's not a new cost for us. But if we weren't doing it 3 times a year, it would have been a new cost, and the state doesn't even fund that.
and just to follow up, has anybody sent Kitchens an email saying, hey, great bill, but if we could modify it with the IEPs and, you know,
Yes,
not
I've
duplicate
sent,
work?
I think I've sent 6 letters now. So you should have just sent my friend Heather. I think I've sent 6.
Hey,
But
have you
I've
gotten Heather's emails? I just want to follow up with you.
Right.
No response.
Good question.
But I do believe they are,
Just the, you know, thank you for your letter. Yeah.
they are funding one position at the DPI, is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
One position.
I don't believe they are funding it. I think the DPI had to find the money for the position, but I might be wrong about that.
Okay, I was under the impression the state.
The coaches still haven't been hired. There were supposed to be, 20-some coaches hired throughout the state, and those haven't been hired either.
Assigned to districts based on need. So it's just
Okay.
bar.
It's just bar.
Just bar.
Everything's are, yeah.
So this is the first year of implementation, or did you guys implement last year? I don't remember.
We did not have to fully implement until December of last year.
Okay.
We chose to pilot it at the beginning of the year
Okay.
because we had no idea
They were
what we were
ready.
getting ourselves in for and wanted to work out the bugs and the kinks before it was required.
Do you know how many kids you had last year in it?
I would say like 103, like it was roughly about the same. And
What, I wanna add that fourth grade, fourth grade is tricky. So fourth grade wasn't included last year, because it's K3, so our numbers are actually very similar to what they went down a little, right?
Okay.
So nobody in fourth grade had a PRP last year. The legislation is very unclear about what to do with fourth grade. It's a K3 bill. But what they say is that if the student has a PRP and doesn't meet proficiency on the third grade forward reading portion of the test, they
have to have intensive interventions in fourth grade.
They
Not
don't
necessarily a PRP.
say anything more. So we decided, because of our building and the training, we were just going to have our fourth graders have a PRP, follow the same timeline. And our intention is to continue that. Because technically they have to do it until they pass the reading portion of the forward. So they're sort of in PRP jail until they pass, but there's no requirement to have the PRP. So for us, what we wrote into our personal reading plans, we feel is what our fourth graders need, and so that's what we're doing with them. They don't have to have it, but we are doing it in fourth grade, because we would have to provide them with intensive interventions anyway, so.
We had 3 third graders, now fourth graders, pass the proficiency and got out of PRP.
Right.
So that was
I know, it was really
We
great,
were
especially
very
since we just started.
So when they, oh, I'm sorry.
I thought when I was reading that once they get to the third grade, if they don't reach that proficiency, they're supposed to be held back, is that?
Originally, that was in the bill,
Okay.
and then it was taken out, you are correct.
When they can test out if they pass?
They passed the reading portion of the forward exam. That's the only, from now, once they hit fourth grade, or third grade, that's the only way out, is they have to pass the forward exam, get proficiency in the
If they
reading.
have a PRP, when they're, at the time that they're taking the reading portion of the forward, if they don't reach proficiency, then their PRP remains till they reach proficiency on the forward exam. If they didn't have a PRP, then they don't have to have one if they don't reach proficiency. Doesn't really make sense, but that's the law.
So can it go beyond fourth grade? If they're still not meeting it?
The legislation doesn't say.
So vague.
It just says they need intensive interventions until they reach proficiency on the forward. It's very unclear. We've worked with CISA, we've worked with DPI, there's no clarity on it.
So are most kids right now,
It's right for kids,
are most kids in our district going up?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I think that's the plus side of this, that we were doing a lot of these things in the district long before my time here. But we weren't doing them to the degree that the personal reading plans require us to do. And we weren't doing, and the training, we hadn't had everybody trained either, so I think those are positive things, even though the amount of time is so significant. And some of the pieces of it I don't think are helpful to kids, but we have tried to really make this into something that is good for our kids.
I mean, I think in amongst itself, at 20, it's a good idea. It really is. It's those other logistical things that just don't.
Like the little thing about it being an unfounded unit.
I mean, even IEP has to have a PRP. I mean, some of those things just aren't.
They don't make
what's good for
sense.
kids, but in amongst itself, good. It's good for kids.
And I just want to recognize Roxy and Heather have done an astronomical amount of work on this.
Thank you.
From what I hear from our colleagues at CISA 5, that we are ahead of the curve on where we are with the PRPs and just our entire process, so thank you.
having said that,
Drum roll, please.
because we have so much extra time as a district and as a team, we wanted to bring to you the information about Assembly Bill 615, which looks like it's moving through pretty quickly. And I know some of you are involved legislatively and you might have already heard about this, but I'm not going to read through all this. I just want to say that AB 615 is the numeracy proposed bill that is the parallel to the literacy assembly bill of Act 20. So
It's Act 20 for math.
Roxy keeps calling it Act 30, but that's not what it is.
At 10, at 20, it's gotta be at 30.
Jeff?
So this was brought up at our legislative thing on Saturday. Kitchen said this is not getting out of committee. It doesn't have the support at this point in time because of Act 20 being released. They don't want to overwhelm teachers with something else that is similar to it. Plus, there is some internal disagreement that this is the right program to, under AB 615, that there are maybe other alternatives than what is presented in 615. So it's pretty much dead on arrival.
Very glad to hear that, because it's been moving pretty quickly to this point.
Yeah, he pretty much assured us that it was dead on arrival.
Okay, glad to hear it. So hopefully you will never hear about AB 615. It was in the legislative update that we got administratively and heard that the education committee was still trying to push that through. So let's hope that does not happen because we have our hands full with Act 20 still. So any other questions for the group?
I just wanted to ask one quick question for clarity. You're saying that, let's say, because Act 20, is it just for Wisconsin? Or Act 20 is for all schools, all across, all states?
Yeah, Act 20 is part of the Wisconsin statutes for our state. It was modeled after a number of other states that have adopted something similar, but this is a state, is part of a state assembly.
Specific to Wisconsin.
Okay, so in the case when you said that if a child has not been tested out with the PRP, that there's no needing to follow them. So would that child have come from a state then that didn't have Act 20, you mean? So if they came in, they wouldn't have to be followed, so.
That's a really good question.
So they're kind of like the left behind child to a certain extent because.
Yeah, so if they come to us after third grade, you are right. They wouldn't necessarily, they wouldn't be part of the legislative rule, but we would still follow what we do in the district with all kids, which is they would potentially be eligible for interventions, but they wouldn't be part of the law, following what the law would say about that. If they come to us from another state prior to third grade, then they might not come with a PRP, but they might have one. They might be eligible
To have one, yeah.
We have had many kids who have come to us from other parts of Wisconsin, and some have come with a PRP that we adopt when they come in, and then we make changes based on what we see with the needs of the child. You have more to say about that?
No, I just wanted to make sure that and we send our PRPs in a queue folder with students when they leave, so wherever they're going knows that they have it, but yeah.
Okay.
Going back to the family communication, and you probably won't be able to answer this, but what's your feeling on the fact when you do the PRPs and you talk to the families, do you think they support you in this? Are they doing reading with the kids? Are they trying to help you where we need to go?
I think they do their best that they can. I think that they are open to whatever suggestions that we offer them. It's been sometimes explaining what the data looks like and what it means, and offering them supports to help their child. We've sent things home. And Heather reminded me, we did those Ready, Set, Go conferences at the beginning of the year and talked about a lot of that.
Just wondering if you're getting support from the other side. I mean, it's more of a team thing to me.
Yeah, I haven't had parents call up and go, what are you doing?
We don't want to PRP.
Like, I'm not, they can't deny it. They can't say, no, I don't, so.
Just wonder if they're buying into it, because if you sit down and read with your kid, that would help everybody. I think.
Absolutely, that's what we want. I mean, we haven't, I'm not sure that we've seen additional growth of that from prior to Act 20, but definitely that was part of our goal with having the different workshops that families could go to at the Ready, Set, Go conferences. One of them was about reading, where we explained kind of this and about achievement, and teachers will be sharing things again at conferences, and so we hope that there's an increase in like understanding the importance of it, that your child has a personal reading plan because they're not meeting proficiency. Here's what you can do at home, but we don't have a huge way of gauging that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling that you get from working with
Yeah.
people, so.
We do, when we send the PRPs out, they go electronically and they acknowledge that they've received them and looked at them via an email back to us, so we do get.
Yeah, and we've had some parents call and just want clarification as to what does this mean, or what can you tell me about their test scores? Because when we send the PRP, it goes with their test scores and how they got to where they are. So some of that is explaining where they're at and why they're there, and just answering some basic questions.
I'm not as concerned with the measuring and stuff like that, but are the kids just sitting down with the parents and the parents reading to the kids or helping them? Because the problem I see is that if you see a word, and I actually ran into this, and you haven't read it or you haven't practiced it, you don't even know what the sounds are like. So, just
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where does the data go if this?
Great question. It doesn't just go into the abyss.
I didn't think so.
So you saw how we use it, which is probably the most important thing, and we give that information to parents, but the other data, like the reason the state pays for a statewide screener is so they can see that data, and so they are getting that data. Every time we do a progress monitoring, that's going to the state. Every time we do the fall, winter, and spring assessment, they're getting that data, so it does go to the state without student names attached to it. They're identified by their WISE ID, which is the Wisconsin Student Identification, platform. So they are getting that data, but mostly we care about it, as you saw, about that individual student. So yeah, they are getting it. We haven't seen anything reported yet coming out, but I'm sure it will be.
We have to answer some questions.
Yeah, we do, every year we do.
Yeah.
My understanding, it is going to be reported of how many kids that we have on
That are
that.
reaching proficiency, yeah.
Well, not reaching, that are in program to have.
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Sure.
so 100 and whatever kids that we have, people will see that when they look at our district.
We'll be well represented.
We will be well represented.
The wrong way. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
It will look better later.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 2.5, Director of Student Services and Special Education, School Safety Update.
Crystal just wanted me to let you know that she has started that process this year. She has walked our buildings with City of Adams Police Department and the Adams County Sheriff's Department, and more information will be forthcoming.
Thank you. 2.6, Board of Education reports. Joni?
Yeah, Jeff and I were both at the legislative committee day in Point this weekend. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting there was that they did a lot of talk about this Secure Rural Schools Act that affects kids up in like some other part of the state around Crandon. And some of these kids from Crandon were able to go out to Washington DC, sit down with Johnson's aide out there and talk about how the funding cut for this that happened a couple years ago, and it's passed in the Senate now, and they're just waiting for it to come back in Congress. So they're hoping to get this funding back. But it was cool that the kids were able to go out there and sit down and talk to these good guys.
Thank you. Jeff?
Things, had a CISA 5 meeting last Thursday for Board of Control. Biggest things that came out of there, Dr. Heather Fish, which some of you guys know, Just went over some of the things that, the programs that they offer, everything from literacy and curriculum audits to math audits to coaching new teachers, AI navigation, networking, helping with Act 20, resources. We did a review of Jeremy and his progress as an administrator for CISA 5. That was definitely positive. Some of the things that Jeremy brought up to us, one of the tools that like CISA 5 does, Jeremy projects equalized values before they come out.
Yes.
And so is it 3 months before they come out, 4 months?
It's usually within a percentage.
Ours was, and given that we've had $1 billion swing in the last 3 years in equalized value, he was 0.02 to the negative.
Yep.
That's how close. And you look at all the school districts, there's only like 3 that are way off, and that had to do with rural local issues and taxing. So this is one of the things CISA does now for us at no charge. Another one is annual task calendar for Wisconsin school superintendents. The reason I bring this up is guess what we're doing? We're going to be looking for a superintendent. This is one of the things that Jeremy developed that will be a working document. I think he has other superintendents looking at it to see what he can add to it, subtract or whatever. But they've never done that before for superintendents. Even their own professional association has never done anything like that. So we're well represented, I would say, at CISA 5 and the things that they do for us, and not just us, for the rest of the state. Went to the legislative committee or legislative session on Saturday also. Yes, we got to meet Joel Kitchens. The other representative was Brad Pfaff from Onalaska. What was interesting, I guess the biggest takeaway from the legislators was it's broken down there. They can't get along on anything. Whatever the governor says, they're going to do opposite. And there's no trust between the two parties. I don't know, maybe the next election will bring changes, I'm hoping, or somebody grows up, I don't know, take a choice. But it clearly, especially with the $325 that we got, that really pissed off a lot of people on both sides of the fence. And we're the ones that suffer.
It's not even an inflationary increase.
So I know, and that's the thing, again, we were told to be nice to these individuals that showed up on a Saturday. We couldn't ask them pointed questions like, inflationary changes. I will say that what I found interesting, there was a woman, the lady that does the stats.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't recall which organization she was with, but they estimated the cost of teaching a student in the state of Wisconsin was a little over $14,000.
Ann Chapman from the Wisconsin.
No, this was a federal,
Oh, okay.
some other organization that they were belonging.
But what was interesting when I asked her a question, because I didn't have to be nice, was how did you come up with that number? Because it doesn't take into account everything, whether it's special ed or other issues that may be, related to a district specific.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that being said, third thing, I want to wish all the veterans, I will not be there in attendance tomorrow. Happy Veterans Day. To my father-in-law, Jim, my dad, Alan, even my son, Tanner, they're all veterans. Appreciate their service. One other thing, as I was approached by a member of our community who is a veteran, we have the 250th anniversary coming up for the United States. I can tell you, I can remember when I was in school, 1976, 1776, they did stuff all year long to celebrate that within school. That was a big deal. to this day, I still remember it. And you know what? Maybe we as a district should think about doing something like that, because we can have monthly programs or something to really teach our kids. In 250 years, that's a good run. And you know what? We can celebrate that. Obviously, our veterans can celebrate that. One other person I forgot to thank, my Uncle Ronnie, he just went on the honor flight.
Thanks.
Here last week with my brother.
Those are amazing.
Thank him for his service too. I don't want to forget that. And the very final, we need to wish our board president a happy birthday.
Oh.
He even shows. I asked him how old he is. He's past that point in life.
Is it a landmark?
No, it's not a landmark, so that's why I'm not asking. But thank you for showing up tonight.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, Joni.
One of the other things they did do, they had a panel discussion on legislative committees for school districts to talk about how, you can try to keep track of the different bills and stuff that's going on down there, so.
Jeff, if the person that you're talking about from the neighborhood was talking about the activities, didn't he want to, if it's the same person, didn't he want to incorporate things, activities for the children with the school district? Is that the same guy we're talking about?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, well, we could bring it up to the board, but he should talk to the boss.
Right,
you know?
but I think it's a great idea.
I
As a
do
board,
too.
we should be supportive of.
I do too.
My personal opinion is, it's a big deal.
It is
Like I
a
said,
big
I can
deal.
remember, unfortunately, I can remember the 200 one. So it's a pretty big deal. And it doesn't matter what political party that you're a part of. It's a celebration of our nation. We've been around 250 years, and that's awesome. So
Educating them, yes.
How do we go about though incorporating the activities?
that's day to day.
We'll have to have a conversation about that.
Yes.
Yep, so that's good.
I told them to contact you guys, but
All right, anything else?
it's gotta come through you and then you could vote on it or, you know.
Right. All right. Next up, 2.7, District Administrator Report.
A few things, and I can be brief. First, that we do have the Veterans Day celebration at the high school tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. If you've never been, it's a really nice event. Our kids are involved musically, and our teachers are involved, and it's a very nice ceremony. So please join us if you can. That's 10:30 tomorrow morning at the high school. Our social media report card is attached, so you can review that and see how we do compared to our peers of similar size. It's interesting. One of the things that we'll talk about administratively is our Facebook viewing is down a little bit, and try to get to the reason why that is occurring. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is prior to this meeting, we had the Path Forward Committee. We've kind of narrowed down options for vacating the middle school over time. And there's really two options, and we'll present those to the board next month and start some decision making. And there are 3 board members that have been involved in those conversations as well. So we'll get to hear from them. Well, thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, consideration of adjournment to closed session under Wisconsin statutes, section 19.851G. Confer with legal counsel regarding strategy for potential fiscal litigation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Joni. Discussion? Seeing none, we will start this vote with Joni,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes?
Bobby,
Yes.
Steve, Priscilla,
Yes.
Lena,
Yes.
and my vote is yes, passes 8-0. We want to go,
We'll go to the TLC room.
all right,
I've got it open,
we
so.
will leave and be back. 3.3. Discussion, consideration, and action as appropriate regarding closed session business. What would the board like to do?
How do you want it worded?
Is there a motion example? I believe there probably is.
It's, look in the tab.
Tab 3.3.
I couldn't hear what you said, I'm sorry.
Okay. I move to make a motion to engage law forward and co-counsel on potential fiscal litigation
And on a pro bono basis.
on a pro bono basis.
Priscilla, you're seconding that?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion by Joni, second by Priscilla. The motion to engage law forward and co-counsel on potential fiscal litigation on a pro bono basis. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote with Jeff.
No.
Laura.
No.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
And my vote will be yes. It will pass 6-2. All right, moving on. I guess consideration to go into closed session again?
No, do not.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion by Lena. Do I got a second?
Second.
By Bobby. On the consent agenda, we have some gifts. We have from the Rome Fire Department for $2,000 for student support. Rustic Ridge Restaurant, $247 for homeless students. Marquette Adams Telephone Cooperative, $300 for school supplies. We have the bills. We have minutes from our tax levy meeting on 10/27 and also the regular board meeting on October 13th. And we have co-curricular winter coaches contracts. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote with Laura.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
Jeff.
I'm going to abstain.
And my vote is yes. We have 7 to 0 to 1 abstention. All right, moving on to new business. 6.1, consideration and action on tuition reimbursement contracts. So these are the true contracts that we have done. We're on 6.1 now. Nope, you're fine. So just the stuff that we have made, these are approved them in the past
Yep.
for reimbursement, so.
These people are already working with us. They're people that are local and again, they're already working here and we've approved these in the past. It's one way to continue to attract teachers that want to be here.
Is it paying for them to get their teaching license or?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
So you can enter a teacher training program with an associate's degree.
Okay.
So some people are in a teacher training program with an associate's degree. Other people are there for additional licensure.
And this is open to all staff?
To all of our people that have applied to teaching positions, correct?
Okay.
Okay.
I make the motion to approve tuition reimbursement contracts.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Laura?
Yes.
Got a motion by Lena, second by Laura. Motion to approve tuition reimbursement contracts. Discussion. Jeff?
I want to thank the administration for doing these kinds of things. It puts us ahead of the curve with other districts. certainly we're kind of at the forefront. We're not behind. We have this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it helps us. I just hope that one day that we look at that, cultivating teachers within our schools. Identifying them in freshman year and then getting them through that whole process. So even starting at the beginning as opposed to they're already in the middle.
Anything else? See none, we'll start this vote with Bobby.
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Priscilla,
Yes.
Lena,
Yes.
Joni,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and my vote is yes, passes 8-0. 6.2, consideration and action to approve district administration yearly evaluation tool. So we've used the CISA 5 in the past, and I think we will continue if that's what the board would like to do.
Sure.
Who wants to make the motion?
Motion to approve the district administrator's yearly evaluation tool.
Thank you.
Second.
Got a motion by Priscilla, second by Jeff, to use the CISA 5 as our yearly evaluation tool. Discussion? Seeing none, we'll start this vote with Steve,
Yes.
Priscilla,
Yes.
Lena,
Yes.
Joni,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
and my vote is yes, passes 8-0. And with that, we're at the end of the meeting. Any objection to adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned at 9:12. Thank you, everyone.